everyone, this is Tara Furiani.
And I'm Justin Boggs.
And you're hanging out with Not the HR Lady,
a web series about all things people.
No BS. Look, HR is not a four-letter word.
And this is not the HR Lady.
Yeah.
Woo! We're back.
We're back.
With another preseason.
That music still gets me pumped up.
It really gets me pumped up. You did a great job with that, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
And I don't know if everybody knows that you did all the music for it, too.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, baby.
There is some really cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
We've hit like 40,000 views.
Yeah, on just YouTube.
On just YouTube. That's not counting any other platform that we use.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. That is so cool.
And almost 2,000 subscribers so
on
far
just YouTube.
On just YouTube.
That's
so
really awesome.
I want to thank everyone for liking and subscribing and checking out and sharing our videos. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's really exciting to have people send messages and are waiting and excited to get your content. I had someone send me a note today, and they're like, I even pushed the notifications button because I want to know anytime you post stuff up. So I was pretty
really
excited
awesome.
about that. I think this is going to be a really cool season. We have fans, which is kind of great. We got a lot of questions, and we're going to talk about that in this episode. But we also have so many great sponsor partners.
Yeah.
And so many great guests. And we don't do a lot of guests on the show, but we do segments with guests in them. Mm-hmm. We do guests more on our webinars and stuff. But we are working with a lot of people, companies, and noisemakers who are committed to like no more BS. The no more BS, which is really exciting. Transparency and equality in the workplace should not be something we're still trying to get or have to convince you about. It's crazy to me.
It's 2020. Why are we still talking about this? Why hasn't there been a change already?
Well, speaking of it being 2020, what a goddamn week it was last week. Toward the end of it, women were set back once again. I can't make this stuff up. Fucking 7-2, the Supreme Court voted to allow companies to discriminate against women's health in the workplace.
That's gross. I mean, that's just disgusting.
And then Tennessee is fighting today for
you
not allowing
have
abortion.
birth control, but I can get my dick pills.
You could totally get your dick pills.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And like the only thing, and I know that Viagra or whatever actually does treat other conditions, but the only reason you get it as a man for that, it doesn't help with your fertility. It helps with your erection.
Yeah.
That's it. But birth control pills, which is what they want to allow companies, or birth control of any kind, not just pills, but allow companies to say that your insurance won't cover that specifically. And you know what? They do that to the trans community a lot as well. A lot of insurances are non-inclusive of trans people in the workplace. And it's something we have to keep that fight going as well. Because right now, women can't get access to basic needs from a health perspective. They treat migraines, acne, irritability, long periods. Like, it treats
kind of
things other than just pregnancy.
Too, right? Like,
yeah.
That's it's disgusting.
I mean, what
that
happened?
We're still talking about this.
What happened to my body, my choice? Isn't that what everybody's bitching about with the masks?
Apparently, it's only with the masks. Is it your body and your choice? So.
Yeah. And right now the big fight is like, the schools must go back open. Like, we have to get schools open. So like, hey, also women and people of color and the Black community, you guys can't have equal rights or equal pay or access to the same healthcare. But God damn it, if our schools aren't going to go back to work, like the schools have to go back.
We're going to get what we want.
And we're going to get what we want out of it. I just don't understand. Like, it's not logical. We're at the highest case count. Disney World opened. And Florida has, 200,000 cases?
Yeah. Like, Disney World closed when there were like 300 cases. Mm-hmm. And now they're like, well, 200,000, I think we can manage that. And it's, well, no. Because it's not just people from Florida that go to Disney World.
No.
So
it's not. Then they're getting on airplanes because air travel is not restricted. In fact, our very own Ted Cruz here in Texas was peeped flying first class this morning on American without a mask, which is an FAA regulation, and it's also American's policy. And he was snapped by a couple of different travelers in flight, and that's just a big fucking no-no wherever he was going. And American actually put out a statement that they were going to investigate the situation. That's right. Ted Cruz.
Shit.
Dog. I mean, is anybody actually surprised?
You know nothing's going to happen.
I know,
but unfortunately, nothing is going to happen to him.
I know nothing's going to happen, but it's this continual dialogue of calling out fucking bullshit and double standards.
Yeah.
Like, why is it okay for some? That's a perfect example. Why is it okay for some and not for others? That's what we face. That's what women in the workplace face every single day. Like, it's just bananas, And so to see it play out every day in politics is just like, I mean, yeah, we know. And it sucks, but that's why we're like so noisy.
I don't think we're ready to go back like to schools yet. I don't think schools should be open yet.
No, I have 5 kids that are school age.
But it's
I
just
want
like,
them to go, but no.
What happens when the teacher gets COVID? Now she or he or they're going to have to quarantine themselves for 14 days.
Right.
And then every student in that class is going to have to quarantine.
Or every person they came in
contact with, which is usually in a school fucking everybody.
And then every person that person came in contact with.
Yeah.
Because how many
times have we went to have lunch with the kids at school and like all the teachers are there walking up and down the aisles. So it's like, well, that school's going to get shut down
after,
with one person
literally
getting
the first day. Like the first day it reopens.
All we're doing is creating hot spots.
Why, instead of not bitching about the fact that schools must reopen, why doesn't the government shut the fuck up, hire all the smart people or partner with all those smart organizations, pump some money into developing an online learning portal that schools could actually fucking use? Because everyone runs a different one and everyone doesn't work the way that the other one works, and some are good and some aren't and some are just whatever. Like, there are options here. There is something that can be done with this. And then we'll talk about... It
doesn't just have to be one thing or the other.
Families that don't have Wi-Fi, families that don't have computer, then fucking get them. Have to fill out something, have to prove need, have to have an income above or less than X to qualify. I mean, you could make parameters and still help the children. If that's what you're solving for, that it's in the best student interest of the student to go back to school, that is true. But it is not in the best interest of society. So instead of just standing up on a podium and running your fat mouth, why don't you actually go and affect change by coming up with actionable solutions? There are a lot of smart and talented people, and a month until most schools go back. You could do this in that time. This is a possibility. Now, a vaccine is not, because why? Because it has to go through trials. I know, this is crazy. But software can be built in 1 month. That is a fucking fact. So help me understand how we cannot have some government portal where school districts upload their shit and everybody has logins and whatever. I mean, hello, Amazon Web Services. Like, you could do this in the cloud for the whole country and allow access to this. This is not even that big of an ask. Yeah. So, like, why is anybody standing up there demanding we risk our children, our teachers, our administrators, and then literally every single one of us who has those people who come in our homes, like our children, or a family member, a wife, a husband, whoever, who's potentially exposed, instead of letting all of those people be the test subject. And I know the mortality rate is really low, but what if one of those 15,000 children, because that was only counting children, by the way, what if one of those 15,000 children were yours?
That are going to die,
that
according
are dead.
to their...
That's their calculation.
Their calculation.
They want us to fucking Hunger Games and offer up as tribute all of our children. And guess what? Only 15,000 of them are going to die, so it's cool.
I mean, only 15.
Only 15,000. Is it really that much?
Yes.
Yes, you motherfuckers. Yes. Of course it is. It's way too much.
One is too much.
And then that doesn't even account for the lives that would be lost in your teaching population.
Yeah.
Your administrator population, the bus drivers. Like, there are a lot of people of age that work in schools. They have a much older demographic.
Yeah. I think that just goes to show, like, how important they feel the schools are right now. I think maybe we should pay teachers a little better.
Maybe we should invest some of that lottery money like we keep talking about. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. I could go on about this for like a really, 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 really long time.
I don't know if you've noticed yet, but you might have seen a couple of bottles here on our table.
Oh, yes.
We had a very good friend of the show, Kamal Webster.
Who was on last week.
Who was on last week.
He's also on Whites at the Round Table, one of our webinar series.
Yep, from last season.
Yep.
Sent us this as a beautiful gift.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. We wanted to thank him for that.
Yeah. Kamal, thank you so much. This is like just a great gesture. I cannot speak highly enough about Kamal Webster and what he brings to the table to any organization. He is actually doing some experiences with a great company that we love to work with at the show, a friend of the show, Revive. We're going to be talking later about our partnership next, and then on the first season of the show. But he's over there with opportunities and experiences for our organizations to bring him on virtually and do some really, really, really great talks around diversity, inclusion, race relations, teamwork, self-care, etc. He is a phenomenal person, and I know that you're seeing on the screen right now where to go, but check it out. It will have the link right there on the bottom of the page. So go and check out Kamal. And Kamal, again, thank you.
Yes.
It's really sweet of you.
Thank you very much. That is a very beautiful gesture. So be on the lookout for something.
Yes.
We're going to send you something as well. Okay. I think I did this a few times last season. Just
it's the COVID update.
It's a COVID update.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
So around the world, from the Johns Hopkins website, we have 13,026,225 total confirmed cases in the world. And out of that, we now have 570,924 deaths.
Cool.
What the fuck?
I mean, we were telling people from the beginning to stay the fuck home.
Yeah.
And wear masks and wash your goddamn hands.
That's just worldwide. Yeah. US, we're doing a little better than the world.
Yeah.
As a total.
Well, we already did math last
with
week.
3,473,254. I don't know if you could tell in my voice that I was being facetious there about how well we're doing.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
We're still a quarter.
We're the greatest in the world, and if we didn't
We're
have
number one.
Wait, and
you know,
this is a direct quote
deaths.
this morning from Kaylee McEnany. If obviously the fact that we lead the world in testing, we've done 40 million tests, so obviously there are more. Like, no, again, dum-dum. Like, I'm trying to break it down for you. I yell at the television. And I tweet about it a lot. But it's like, okay, yes, we are doing more testing, and that's awesome. But our percentage of people who are being tested are positive in a much higher way than other countries.
Yeah, you could do 300 million tests,
right,
and have no cases and be like, cool,
yeah.
But you could also have 300 million positive tests,
right,
and that's like, okay, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's not because of testing. That's because of the measures that we took weren't enough to keep other people from getting sick. So
people, this isn't even hard
yes,
stuff.
When you do more tests, you find more cases, but the tests aren't causing the cases to go up.
The tests don't infect you with the coronavirus.
Exactly. So I think that's where they're bending the truth there, and they want that to look better by saying, well, we're doing more tests, so of course more cases. Well, that's not the correlation there.
Once again, we're still representing 25% of the world's deaths and the world's cases, and we are only 4.5% of the world's population. So, again, I don't know if you guys can do math. I can. We did it last time. Tried to break it down for you. This is not a joke. I realize our mortality rate is getting lower, but pretty soon someone will be dead from this virus.
Yeah.
And then I want you to come back to me and say, yeah, but I mean, it was only a 0.001 mortality rate. Fuck you. Those are lives. The The one in there represents a fraction, right?
I mean,
of people.
In the U.S., we have 138,165 deaths.
Yeah.
That is
of people that
an
didn't need to die.
extremely large number of people.
Yeah, well, the flu kills more.
That's funny. Do you remember that when that was an argument?
I do.
Do you remember that?
Do you?
I remember that. That was funny. Oh, it's all a hoax. The
Yeah.
flu kills more people. Where are you at now, everybody that was saying that?
Well, they're still saying it's a hoax and not wearing masks.
Yeah. And we were talking today about all the tests that are being done. 40 million tests. And then we kind of got on a kick of like, well, how many of those tests are people in government, like government officials and White House staff that get tests
the Senate,
every
the House,
day,
everybody,
sometimes twice a day.
Secret Service, anybody.
Like, you know, Trump gets tested at least twice a day.
I would wager so.
Yeah, anytime he's like in contact with people.
I mean, I'd hope so.
Yeah. So how many of that, 40 million?
I say like a solid mill has gone to celebrities and to like, important people. Because we just be clear, like people in celebrities who did not have the virus were talking about how they got tested when there was a national shortage of tests.
Yeah.
So like there were tests, y'all. They just weren't for us.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
You got to have money.
Shit about that Amazon at $1.
But there is another thing going around. That stimulus. Mm-hmm. So there's been talks of the stimulus for quite some time. And then Congress decides like, well, we're going to take a break. But at different times, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what
I have never heard of a job that gives you just like breaks. So that's
in addition to like paid time off.
In
like
addition,
they're closed.
well, yeah, like
it's not
they're
in
straight
session.
up closed, and it's like this is your time off. See you later. Right. That's insane. That we do that with our government multiple times a year.
Wait, stop. Or is it? Like, so I'm going to push back. No, I think every company should do that. Like, hey, come and work. You guys did a kick-ass job. And like, we're on a rolling basis to keep the company open. We want to give everybody, 1 month off every quarter. I think that is less stupid. We should get that too.
I mean,
like work-life
I don't know about that. I like 1 month every quarter. That's
I'm just
beautiful.
Saying, that's what they get,
it's
isn't
what
it?
they get pretty much. So then, but the House like created this bill like with new money and everything, and they sent it to the Senate, and the Senate's like, we're actually out on vacation, so we're not going to be able to get to it. They will be back on July 20th. So we should expect some kind of information.
At the very last minute.
Yeah, at the very last minute. Between the 20th and the 31st of July. Because on the 31st of July, the $600 unemployment benefits that people have been getting, that runs out.
Yeah.
So that's a hard date on that. So they're trying to get to some kind of agreement on the stimulus bill before the 31st. And Mitch McConnell has even said, like, we will have an agreement before the end of July.
Yeah, I don't trust anything Mitch McConnell says because, like, it's going to be something that behooves them.
Which, yes, so there's a couple of things in this that might kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
So the possible new ideas for the stimulus bill that is going around is, like, for us, what could that do? Nothing. They might not even give us anything. They might turn that money and try and send it back for tax breaks and the way to boost the U.S. economy and job growth. That's a thought.
To give us tax breaks?
Instead of giving us actually money, they're just going to give us tax breaks and give businesses tax breaks to hire people, to hire more people. But you can't do that when you're closed.
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Since all of the churches and Donald Trump's friends and celebrities got all of the PPP loan money, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Those small businesses.
Didn't fucking Yeezy get money?
Yeah.
Kanye
he totally
West?
did. He totally did.
He doesn't need that.
No, that's bananas.
Churches got money.
Churches.
What? I'm sorry. Fuck you. Like,
you pay taxes. You get a non-exempt status.
Yeah. Cruise liners. Fuck you.
Same.
You don't pay
feel the same.
taxes to the
US.
US. Right. Yeah, you fly other countries' flags on your ships, so you don't have to pay taxes.
They do have employment tax and stuff on employees that are U.S. based, so like that's a thing.
That well, yeah, but like
But they're
the company,
business. Yeah, they don't pay
the
business
They don't pay
taxes.
business
Right.
taxes, which is
Right.
ridiculous. They
You're
all
not wrong.
port here.
You're not
So,
wrong. They port in multiple places.
Yeah. One of the other things is they could do is less than $1,200. They might give us less this time as that one-time check. And
So I just want to take a pause because like United Airlines is going through a thing today where they did a really big announcement that they would be laying off about 36,000 employees. And it was funny, the timing, because to protect himself because of such a mass layoff, you have to give it in a certain period of time. And so he didn't need to do it yet. And most companies will choose to wait until the very last minute. But curiously, he did it early because if he does it early, it's in time to potentially influence the bailout.
the stimulus package.
Yeah.
It's smart, but it's kind of fucky.
It's totally fucky.
I mean, it's real fucky, but it's smart in that business sense, you know.
They got $11 million. So like $11 billion. So like,
What?
yeah. So
Holy
like take
fuck.
that as a minute. It was a little more. It was like $11.5 million. So, 11 billion with a B. Billion. I can't fathom it. So United Airlines, which is a profitable airline that is based in the United States. They have a fairly new CEO. He started right at the beginning of the pandemic, actually.
Yeah.
And he was really transparent, said that this day might come. He was, lauded for his no BS approach, which I appreciate. And I certainly get why they would have to do it. But here's the kicker is like, why do you have to do it? We're all supposed to have some nest egg that can get us through this pandemic. And some of us are lucky and we do, and some of us aren't. And so if we get...
Yeah.
Wait, what is that? Is that 1%?
If that.
If is that even 1%? Is it 0.1%?
Yeah.
Like
basically.
we get 1,200 and they got 12 billion.
It's probably less than that. I'm not doing math right now, but
And I'm drinking gin.
It doesn't even add up to like what they're getting.
Like we're supposed to have some big. What about them? Like what about those giant corporations?
But it's also like, so you bail out this airline company.
Yeah.
Okay. To keep these jobs. But we can't afford to buy a plane ticket.
Exactly.
So how
Because everyone else is out of work. Like you're talking 36,000 jobs and we have 40 million people unemployed.
Yeah. That doesn't add up to me.
It doesn't add up at all.
So giving us less than $1,200 isn't going to help.
No.
The $1,200 that we got last time is still on the table that they could work with. There has been talks of a $2,000 monthly
It's never going to
payment.
happen. That's what Canada did.
All the way up to 2 months after the pandemic is over, or for 12 months.
Wait, I'm sorry. The pandemic is over. I thought it was. Isn't that what our president is saying?
Supposedly, right? That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
And then my favorite one. This is my favorite one. From Forbes that reported this. There's talks of a $4,000 temporary travel tax credit proposed by the U.S. Travel Association, and Trump embraced this, where they would give like couples about $8,000 in tax credit
To travel?
to cover travel expenses, plus $500 for each qualifying child.
I mean, I'll take your money, but
A tax credit. They're not giving us money.
Oh, I get a break later.
You get a break later,
That's like
but you have to have money to travel.
That's like the antithesis of those like Affirm and other like payment companies and stuff where it's like come and travel for as low as $38 a month. It's like come and travel and use all of your money and then we're gonna give it to you on the back end.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that but the opposite.
But the thing is we
The
don't
antithesis of
have
that.
money now.
Right, because there's 40 million people unemployed.
Yeah.
I mean, trust me, we would love to be going to New Zealand. Awkward,
Yeah.
here we come.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, we just, well, one, we're in a pandemic and you can't leave the United States. Do you
We
guys know
can't
that?
go anywhere.
Do you know that you can't leave?
Yeah.
Fact check it.
It's like
crazy.
The Terminal and with Tom Hanks.
We're just stuck in America.
We're just stuck in America and we can't go.
We don't
anywhere.
have we don't have an airport.
There's
as far
no
as we know.
free world that we can go to right yet. But one of the last things though is, of course, like a payroll tax cut was something that,
Of course, he's been trying to
that
get
Trump has been pushing.
Well, that
like-
benefits him, right? He has how many
Yeah.
businesses? He has
Yeah.
employs how many people?
Yeah, absolutely. All of his Mar-a-Lago, well, where he lives now, because
He's a Florida resident.
He's
right?
a Florida resident
Makes
because
sense.
of taxes. Yeah. Like in his presidency, he's
He moved.
literally dodging taxes.
moved.
Like what?
It's bananas.
It's disgusting. But that unemployment will be ending on the 31st. So
Unless there's some relief. So
fingers
cross
crossed
fingers for everybody because there's a lot of
that,
people still out of work.
that they will be able to give some relief to all of us that are hurting during this.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people,
A number of our friends were just laid off. So and a huge layoff.
huge layoff.
So we're crossing our fingers for everybody that it gets extended and that we're not just helping out United and
yeah,
all those airlines in which we can't fly because we don't got any cash.
I just think it goes to show that they don't pay enough.
No,
like,
pay-
companies don't pay enough.
And that's a great point. Like pay is one of my most heated topics, right? And I know we started this episode with like women who, really quick, in 2020 make 81 cents to the male dollar. Just, noodle over that for just a second. So we now must shell out more for our basic healthcare needs. Like, and I know it's like $6, $8, but like for a lot of people, that is a lot of things.
yeah.
There's 120,000 people who are going to be affected by this. And I know 120,000 is not a lot since we're just letting people die left and right with COVID.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's
that's
no
a good
big.
point.
Like it's no big. But
That's a really small number in comparison, according to a lot of the White House speakers.
yeah. I mean, if insurance pays for your dick to get hard, not getting a boner, like we said, is not an
Yeah.
issue that needs fixing. But us ladies can't help the fact that we're just bleeding out of our vagina once a month. Like
Yeah,
just
that's-
not a thing we can help.
Yeah.
It's, baby, I was born this way.
You can't stop that.
No. So then we also have to go and then pay through the nose to stop the bleeding so we can just go about our day. And yet we make 81 cents.
And there are people
on
that
the
can't
dollar.
afford the proper things that they need.
No. And
that's-
now they're going to it's not covered with your insurance, but fucking get your dick hard pills are. That is optional. Bleeding is not. We can't help it.
I mean, and that just goes to show you where the laws have been made and like who's making the laws, right? Old white men.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna make sure this is in there, so this job that I have pays for my erection.
Yeah.
Like that is an old white man bill.
100%. 100%. Like with their golfing buddies.
Yeah. They did too. They were
You know what
talking
we
with their
need?
golfing buddies.
Yeah.
You know what we need? We could just have the insurance companies pay for it. If we just lobby to
It
have
was
this
like,
done.
Larry, guess what I took? My blood pressure medicine made my dick really hard. I had the best sex I've ever had in 22 years. You got to try it. And that's how Viagra was started.
Yep.
Cheers. I really don't know, but that's probably how it started.
Viagra was started as a blood pressure medicine, and all of the side effects were for men that
Yeah.
they got boners.
Yeah.
And they were like,
That's literally how it
well,
worked out.
Why don't we just market it this way?
Yeah. It was like Larry and Steve on the golf course. It was like Bob and Joe.
And Chad.
Chad was definitely there. And Mitch.
Yeah. Chad's carrying all the clubs, but
Mitch
Chad was
definitely
there.
there.
And he talks about it. He gets to go on those golfing retreats.
Speaking of Mitch, I did not personally get contacted by Mylan, the company that Mitch worked for, but several of the people who follow us were contacted because they wrote letters on our behalf about Mitch's "I need to get fucked" comment that he sent to me on LinkedIn. And I wouldn't be so angry. And apparently the word on the street from the chief human resources officer that I saw the screenshot of was the situation has been handled. So I don't know if that means he's fired or what, but that's the Mitch update. That's all I know. I've reached out. I still have not heard. Mylan hasn't made any kind of like public announcement or anything like that, but it's kind of crazy.
I wonder what being handled means.
I don't know. He was probably fired, right?
Probably.
So we get a lot of questions.
Yes.
And I get the same question over and over and over and over and over again of not the HR lady.
And why? Like, what does that mean?
Exactly. So it's my most commonly asked question. In fact, just before this filming, I was asked, when was the moment you decided that you were going to be so brave? And that was their phrasing. And the person then shared with me that they can't be open about who they are because they're a member of the LGBTQIA community, and it's been an issue previously. There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
My new connection has that sent me this note. And they asked, like, when could you decide you couldn't take it anymore? And I've never told this story in its entirety on the show. And so I thought I would just tell a quick version of the moment when.
The massage?
The moment when, the massage, yeah. So I was getting a massage, which I know sounds crazy with what I'm going to say next. And I had laid down. I was settled in for 90 minutes. I was ready to go. I'd had a really stressful day. It was kind of late. And I got in, and then the fellow that was doing my massage basically felt like he never had touched another human being in his whole life. So he had a phone in his pocket, kept buzzing. The keys he had in his pocket were like jingling. And then like the coup de grace was when he like leaned and actually put his weight on the top of my head. Like basically sandwiching me, like laying on top of me.
Oh. What kind of fucking massage is that?
I mean, I know. It wasn't even like a happy ending kind. I wasn't supposed to be anyway. That wasn't the kind of happy ending I was looking for. But it was an unhappy beginning. So he gets off me, and I wiggle my way up, and I'm like, I just need you to leave. Like I am really feeling uncomfortable. I'll still pay for my massage, but I need to go. And I was with my ex-husband at the time, and he was in the adjacent room. And the woman who was doing his massage came out and was like, is there a problem? And I said, well, yes, I really just need to go. I am not comfortable with the massage, et cetera. I explained it. And she was like, well, is he going to go? And I'm like, I don't know his life. I am leaving. And this was we were in a bad relationship for a good while at this point. And so I don't know what he was going to do. And it didn't matter. But that was the moment when that is not me. So like I am like you're
not going to take that kind of shit anymore.
No, I would say anybody who knows me knows that if I get a bad pedicure, I don't complain. I chalk it up, right? Have I written bad Yelp reviews? Absolutely. But I will just take it. I will pay for the service. Except this one time I got my hair like fried off by someone, not my current gal Missy, but who I haven't seen in months. But an old place. Like that was the only time I've ever stood up for myself, but it's because my hair was literally being pulled out of my head. So anyway, I am a kind person. I am not an angry person. I am not aggressive. I know that it might seem like I might be, but I'm totally not, right? And that was a really big epiphany for me. It's not that I can't be confrontational. I absolutely can.
Right.
It's just that I didn't feel it necessary to escalate it further. It was, I think, more of me than it was him. He was just the catalyst that made my brain somehow have that moment that went, I am better than this.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not taking this anymore.
Right.
And you know what? That's going to fucking apply to everything around me.
And it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped putting up with, things in my relationship that I've never talked about this. So it's like emotional. Like I wasn't going to tolerate things that had been happening in my relationship. And I'm lucky I didn't have an abusive partner or anything like that. But, there are different ways to have a relationship end. And in
your relationships at work, like that's where HR lady comes from because you get introduced as the HR lady.
So that's where the name comes from.
No,
but I wanted to tell the story behind it though. That's been a thing, right? I've been introduced at work countless times my whole career where I sometimes have not even corrected them.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger part of the equation. It's like, this is the new HR lady. And I'm being introduced that way. And we've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't introduce your chief financial officer as like, this is the bean counter guy.
Yeah, this is the numbers guy.
The numbers guy. This is the It's the ops guy. Like,
Yeah.
if that's the chief operating officer,
This
you're
is our
going
computer guy.
Yeah, and it's the chief tech officer.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to address a chief, and like, I'm not one for formality, but like, I've achieved a status in my career, and you're my peer. At the time, this was a COO. Actually, the 2 times it's actually happened, and it's happened twice. Both were with the COOs of the company. I don't know. I don't think that has any correlation. It just happens to be the case. But both of them were the chief operating officer. So right off the bat, they're minimizing my position.
Yeah.
Right? They're putting me in a category of box checker, benefits lady, probably handles payroll.
Yeah.
Not anything that I was actually doing or have spent my whole career doing. And that's what I was hired to do at these companies. So I guess I can only take it as microaggression. It's like mispronouncing my name, and it would always happen as well. I have introduced myself as Tara numerous times.
And they'll go right back to Tara. Because they're not listening.
Because they're not listening to me. But that's not it. It's a microaggression. It's a way to show a form of control.
Yeah.
And that's what those things are. That's what I've learned, throughout all of this time. And so what does not the HR lady mean? It means Black Lives Matter. The LGBTQIA community matters.
Absolutely.
The 81 cents us women make to the male $1 matters. Harassment, intimidation, bullying, sexism, misogyny. We're not taking it anymore.
No.
We're worth more than being scared at work.
Yes.
We are worth more than those microaggressions of saying our name wrong.
Yeah.
Of
and
introducing
all
us.
of that bullshit that's
and
been
all
put
that
up with
bullshit.
for fucking centuries.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
for fucking ever.
Yep.
I mean,
we're done with hiding our natural hair. We're done
Yeah.
with hiding our names because they're not the right. You can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, Bob anymore.
no. We're going to use our
because my name is Demille, and I want you to call me
Yeah.
that. And Demille, it's not you. I was just giving an example. Like, I don't want to,
we want to use our privilege to make it better.
Yes, absolutely. Use your damn privilege, companies.
Why?
Because Black fucking lives matter. How hard is this?
It's not that fucking hard to understand.
And apparently over
All
the last
lives
week,
can't matter until Black lives
do.
matter. So understand that. Get that through your head.
We know all lives matter.
Yeah.
We know.
And
we
so
know.
Yeah.
But Black lives have not mattered the same way as everybody else, as white ones. So all lives can't matter until Black lives do.
Yeah.
Apparently, over the last week, companies forgotten because I have seen less and less and less messaging related to Black Lives Matter. I've seen companies blackface their logo.
And that doesn't mean anything.
No.
Let's see some action.
What are you going to do? Are you just...
Are you
want,
just in it for the PR?
Yeah, do we want we want DEI, not PR. We had a whole webinar about this.
Yes, we did.
Choose your next steps carefully, but do choose them.
Yeah, we're waiting.
We're watching. I'm Tara Furiani.
I'm Justin Boggs, and this has been Not the HR Lady. See you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Not the HR Lady.
Engage with us on any social platform at Not the HR Lady and visit our website for more people stuff at notthehrlady.com.
New episodes will be out every week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.